सो हेलो एवरीवन। आज हम लोग स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं हमारी नोड ऑथेंटिकेशन एंड सिक्योरिटी सीरीज। एंड इसके अंदर हम डिफरेंट लेवल्स ऑफ ऑथेंटिकेशन एंड सिक्योरिटी देखेंगे कि हाउ यू कैन एक्चुअली प्रोटेक्ट योर बैकएंड, चाहे वो किसी राउट को प्रोटेक्ट करना हो या किसी पेज का कंडीशनली लोड होना हो, चाहे आपका पासवर्ड इंक्रिप्शन हो, चाहे टोकन जनरेशन हो। सारी चीज़ें हम इस ट्यूटोरियल सीरीज के अंदर कवर करेंगे। एंड आज मैं आपको सबसे पहले दिखाऊंगा बिल्कुल बेस लेवल सिक्योरिटी आप कैसे अपने नोड प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर लेके आ सकते हो। एंड आप इसको सिक्योर नहीं कह सकते, इट्स बेसिकली कंडीशनली लोडिंग योर पेजेस, राइट। तो स्टार्ट करते हैं हमारा लेवल वन। तो इसमें सबसे पहले तो देखो, हम जितनी हमें पैकेजेस चाहिए, राइट, वो सब हम लोग पहले अपना एक बेस प्रोजेक्ट सेटअप कर लेते हैं। तो हमारा स्टेप नंबर वन, टू क्रिएट अ सर्वर डॉट जे एस फाइल, या फिर आप इसको ऐप डॉट जे एस, इंडेक्स डॉट जे एस, कुछ भी बुला सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट स्टेप, इनिशियलाइजिंग योर npm। सो npm init डैश y, ठीक है। एंड इससे आप npm को इनिशियलाइज कर देंगे। नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट वी नीड फॉर आवर लेवल वन इज सिंपली नथिंग, राइट। तो आप, क्योंकि मैंने आपको बताया है कि जो हमारा लेवल वन ऑफ सिक्योरिटी है उसके अंदर हम सिर्फ इफ एंड एल्स का यूज़ करके एक पेज को कंडीशनली रेंडर करेंगे, राइट। सो दैट इज हाउ वी गोना बी conditionally showing up a page if the password is true, like basically if it is similar or not to the password which is saved in the database। ठीक है। तो पहले हम एक यूज़र क्रिएट करेंगे, देन हम उसके पासवर्ड को कंपेयर करेंगे, एंड ओनली इफ द पासवर्ड मैचेस तभी जाके मैं एक पेज आपको रेंडर करके दिखाने वाला हूँ। ओके। तो हमें जो पैकेजेस रिक्वायर्ड है दैट इज एक्सप्रेस, राइट। एंड ये कोई लाइक सिक्योरिटी स्पेसिफिक पैकेजेस नहीं है। हम्म, तो mongoose and EGS, these are the three packages that we'll be using. Great. I'll also create a .env file, but for that as well we need a package. So it's called .env, environmental variables के लिए. So let's create a file for that as well, env. Okay. अच्छा देखो, सबसे पहला our step will be to set up the local server, and to do that, first of all we need to come to package JSON, and we'll be changing the type to module so that we can use ES6 import and export, right? I don't think so we need to make any change. Also, we will be using nodemon, राइट, क्योंकि हमें बार बार हमारा सर्वर हमें किल नहीं करना है, ऑटोमेटिकली रन हम चाहते हैं हो जाए वो आफ्टर मेकिंग चेंज इन द स्क्रिप्ट फाइल। तो वी आर यूजिंग नोडमैन एज वेल, एंड इट्स ऑलरेडी इंस्टॉल्ड इन माय सिस्टम। बट अगर आपके सिस्टम में इंस्टॉल्ड नहीं है, देन you can install it globally like this, npm-g nodemon, okay, and then press enter and it will be installed globally, okay. So once you have all the packages, then make a small change in your package JSON, add a dev script which will run your command nodemon space server .js, and it is just in the developer mode, okay. Acha. Next, once you're done with all of this, then import express from express. Then you also need to import config from .env, then create a constant for the app. Also in the .env, like see, first of all, I'll initialize this config, okay. I'll run this config function, right, so that you can use .env. Now I'm gonna put my port number in here, okay, on which I'll run my app, which is 3000, okay. And app dot listen, I'll put the port number here, but for that I'll do one thing. I'll extract the port number in this variable. So process dot env dot the port number. Okay, I'll put the port here, And if this runs successfully, then I want to console.log that my server started on the port number and whatever the port is. Okay. Next, uh, we also need to set up our database, right? So I'll be using the local host, okay, like the local database, you can say. Okay, and in order to connect with that, I can simply use the mongoose.connect function. You can either put it here within the same file, or I will suggest you guys to create a config folder, and inside of that create a file with the name of db.js, and inside of this you can create a function, maybe let's call it connect db, right? So it's a asynchronous function, right? Also we will be importing mongoose, okay, because that is what the main purpose of this file is, to connect with the database, right? Now because we're using async await, I can use try and catch in here to catch any errors, right? And if there are any errors, I don't want to proceed further. I'm gonna do process.exit with the one, which means there was some error, right? And in the try, I will simply await, and I will use mongoose.connect function to connect with the database. Right now, I can either connect to my cloud DB, right? MongoDB cloud like MongoDB Atlas, or I can use the local host. So I'm gonna be using the local host, as I said. So MongoDB URI is equals to, and MongoDB colon double forward slash local host 27017. I'm gonna call this one auth underscore security underscore DB. Okay, that's what I'm gonna call it. So done. Then I'm also gonna be using it here inside of the connect function. So process dot env dot your mongo underscore URI. Okay, and we will also store this in a variable connection, and I simply want to console.log the connection dot host just to check where my DB is running, right? And also I want to console.log that or maybe within the same console I'm going to modify and make a small change in here, like connected to DB, and then whatever the host is, I want to show that. Then I'm going to export this connect DB function, okay, and it's going to be a default export. Done. And then I will import it. I'll import the connect DB function and I'll use it after this, or maybe I can put my let's put the app in here. Yeah, the port here, and then again I'm going to use the connect function to connect to the DB. Okay, and there is a reason why I'm actually running it after the config, because this initializes .env, right? And only after .env is initialized I can use it in my app. Okay, so yeah, we are done with this. Now let's try this using the npm run dev command which we created, and ah, it broke down due to some reason because we are not able to find the JS file. Yeah, we have to end it with .js, and now I think it should run. See, connected to DB localhost and server started in port 3000. So we are successfully connected to our database. Next thing we need to do is we have to set up our model, right? Like what like basically we will be storing the user first of all, right? So how the user will look like, right? So we have to create like a schema for that, and then you have to create a model. So let's create a folder for that, and then inside of it I will create a file called user.js. Okay, now here we will be using mongoose, so I have to import mongoose first of all, and then I want to create a user schema here, new mongoose dot schema. Okay, and I will simply use a name or maybe just email. Okay, email, and here the type of the email will be string. Yes, it is. required, okay, minimum length will be, nah, I don't think so. We do require any minimum length in here. Okay, but yeah, it's required and it should be unique. Okay, that's all. Now for the password, I'll also put the type as string required, okay, to true, okay, true, and the password does not need to be unique. Okay, that's all. And later, if you want, you can put a like a minimum length there if you need. But for now, I will simply put like email and password with type string required true and unique for the email. Okay. Okay. Then the next thing I'll do is I'll create a model. So const user is equals to new mongoose dot model, and inside of it I need to provide the name of the model, so I'll call it user. It will automatically become plural in the database. Then I have to provide the schema as well, so this is my user schema. And then I don't want to use it here, I simply want to export the user model from here, okay, so that it can be used in the entire project. Then I'll go to server.js, and in here I want to create a few routes first of all, right? Obviously for register and login, okay, and a home page. So let me create the routes. See, if you guys want later, we can actually convert this into a MVC approach project, right? Like putting things into routes and controllers. Like we are already using model, right? So later, if you want, we can convert it into a MVC project, okay? Now let's create the routes. Okay, routes. So first of all, I'll create a home route, okay, or you can call it a root route, right? And I'll use the app dot route function, okay, to name the route, which is the root route, and then I'm going to be handling a get request on it, where I will be receiving the request and I will be sending the response. So as a response, I simply want to render, but you cannot use the render function if you haven't changed your view engine. So you have to add a few middlewares here, right? So the first middleware I'm going to be using is for the static files, right? To load the static files. So I'm going to be using express.static function for that. There I'll provide the name of the folder, which I'll keep for my static files. The next thing, to use the URL encoded so that I can actually receive, or you can say load the data which is coming from the front end forms or request. Hmm. Now URL encoded, there I'll have to provide the extended parameter and I will set its value to true. Hmm. Then I also want to make some changes in the setting as well. So in my app, I want to set the view engine to EJS. Okay, done. Now I can use the render function, but in order to use it, you need to have a views folder inside of which I'll create the file home.ejs, which is simply going to be an HTML file, kind of HTML file. I did made a mistake here. It should be .ejs. I named it JS. Okay, easy. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to be calling it security website. Hmm, like this. Uh, so here I'll create a simple page in here. So because see, our focus is not going to be on writing a lot of HTML and CSS. So I think we can use Bootstrap in here, right, to create things really faster. So yeah, let's do one thing. Let's go to the browser. Hey, what's up? It's taking a while to open it. Okay. All right. So here I'm gonna go to getbootstrap.com. Okay. And I'm simply gonna be using a earlier version. right? More compatible. So yeah, here is the CSS. I can simply copy and paste it in my head. Okay, and it's my bootstrap CSS. And then I'll also create a custom CSS file as well. Hmm, like this. All right. Now in the body, I'm simply going to create a div. I'm going to call it main. Okay, main. Hmm. And there I will create maybe an H1 which says security, security at its best. Okay. I'm going to create a paragraph in here with some dummy text and a button. Okay, which simply says sign up. And I think I should better create it as a tag so that it can actually take me to the login. Okay, so I'm gonna make a small change in here, login. Okay, sign in and sign up, and this one is gonna be a register route. Okay, that's it. Now because we're using Bootstrap, so you can give it some class like BTN dark maybe. Same here, class BTN dash dark. Simple. Okay. Now I want to render this page, and I think I'm already doing that in here. Okay. Oh no, you have to provide the name as well. So it's home, right? It's called home.ejs. You can either put the full name .ejs, but because we have already set the view engine, so it's like automatically going to be searching for the home EJS file in views folder only. Okay. So let's run the. Oh, I think it's already running. Yeah. So I think we can finally go to the browser and we can go to local host 3000 and yeah, this is the home page. I don't know, like, it's not that good looking, but our focus here is not actually on the HTML and CSS, right? But still, just for you guys, I'm gonna put the style.css into it, mm, mm, make it look a bit better, right? So remove any pre-edit margins or paddings, add a border. Hey, my bad. It should be box sizing, and I'm gonna give it box sizing of border box. Then I'm gonna take the whole body and I'm gonna give it a minimum height of 100 VH and give it a background color of like gray maybe, but a slight mm, yeah, this one looks good. A slight light gray, kind of okay. And or maybe I'm gonna use a linear gradient, okay, where the gray is the first color, and I'm gonna use another color in here which is gonna be dark gray, okay, and that too on a 45-degree angle. Mm, yeah, that's gonna be good. Okay, I'm not sure if I've linked it or not. I think I did already. Yeah, style.css. All right, just to make sure that it is working. I don't think so. It is. Oh yeah, it is working. Yeah, so it works. Okay. Now I'm gonna put the content in between. So some padding in the body, or maybe hash main. Uh, I'm gonna give it a padding of like 2 rem and border radius of like 10 pixels. Give it a background color of white. I think it should look good. And margin from the top 2 rem or maybe 4 rem. We do need a navigation bar as well, which we don't have as of now, but yeah, I'll make that change as well. Hmm. Yeah, so 4 rem from all the four sides, and boom. So this is our home page for now. Okay. So this will actually take us to the sign in and the sign page, which we don't have as of now. So let's create the route for them as well. All right. So let's create route for registry first of all. And I'll use the app dot route function and provide the route, which is register. Okay. And I'm going to be handling the get request for that first of all, right? Mm. Request and response. And here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, like, get the information which is coming from the body. So const, and I'm going to extract the email and password which will come. But obviously, it's not going to be happening here. It's get request, guys. So res dot render, right? And we are going to be rendering a register page. Okay, so let's create a file called register.ejs. Okay, again, it's also going to be kind of same, right? But the content is going to be different, right? It will not have this, right? It will have a register. Now heading instead of paragraph and button. Oh, here, I'm going to create a form. But before that, let me put an HR. Okay, then a form. And because we are actually creating a register route, so I'm going to send this request on register only. Method will be post, right? Because we are sending the form, right? And inside of it, I'm going to create a div with a class of form group, which comes from Bootstrap, and in it, an input with a type email and a class of form control. And yeah, we're going to be calling it email. We don't need any ID to connect it to a label because we are not using any placeholder. We'll simply say enter your email. Okay, cool. Then we need a field for password as well, right? So boom, this one will have a type of password and the name of password as well. And this will say enter your password. Class name will also be form control. Then after the divs, I'll create a button which says sign up. Okay, sign up and done. This will simply have a class of btn, btn dark, and btn block. Okay, and this will simply submit the form. Okay, now I have to render this register page. So let me just check if it is working. Sign up. This takes you to the register page, and this is our register page. But I think we have another button. Okay, I don't want to make it look like a button, but it should be BTN link maybe. Okay, now does it look like a link? Yeah, but this will not say sign up. Instead, it say already have an account. So log, or maybe it should say sign in. Okay, like this, and this will actually take us to the login page. I'm gonna give it a like a margin top as well. Better. Okay, and maybe I don't want it to look like a button. Nah. Okay, now just a margin top of like maybe 4, but because it's a link, it's an inline tag, so a margin top will not work on it. Okay. So BTN link. Okay, that I have to convert it into a button first of all. BTN. Uh-huh. And because I want it to look like a button, so back again to BTN link. All right, but I can actually remove this extra margin, which I can do later. Okay, so for now we have this register now, and here I can put some email and some password, and if I do the sign up, it says you're not handling the request, the post request for the register, right? So let's handle that too. So I'm going to remove this semicolon and attach a post handler as well, right? So we are handling a post request for it, request and response. And we first of all need to get the request.body. And from the requested body, I want the email and the password to be extracted. Once we have this, I simply want a console.log just to test that if it works. Okay, okay, so console.log and test the email and password that if they are coming or not. And if we have them, okay, I'm simply gonna create a new user. But before that, I also want to check for something. Okay, so const, I'm gonna check for an existing user with the same email. So await user. Okay, we have to import that. We have to make sure that we're importing it, right? And once you have it, user dot find one with the email. Okay, and this should be an asynchronous function, right? That we can use a sync await in here. Hmm. And then I'm going to be trying all of this and try and catch. Okay. So if there is an error, maybe just log it for now. Okay. So log the error. And in the try, I want to do all these things within try only, right? Get the email and the password from the body, log it, and then check if the user already exists. And if the user exists, then I want to return from here only. And as a response, I want to send some like data back, but not like this. Instead, let's send a status. Okay, maybe it says 400. Okay, for now, and gives you a JSON data back with a message. Okay, it says user already exists. And one more thing which you can say is like the success. Obviously, it's not success, it's false. So done. Okay. All right. Now, I think it's crashing due to some reason. Not sure what it is. Eh, are we missing something? Uh-huh. Unique, unique, unique. Okay. User. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now it should work. Yeah. My bad. I actually forgot to put unique true there, right? All right. Let's come back to the server.js. So yeah, if the user already exists, then I wanna return from here only and give this response back. But if there is no user existing, then what I want to do is I simply want to create a new user. So const user is equals to new user. There I want to fill the value for the email and the password. After doing this, you have to save it. So user dot save. And once it is saved, like it will take some time to happen, right? So I have to wait for it. Okay, and once it is done, then I want console.log, not console.log. Instead, I want to render a page. Okay, and this is going to be our secret page. Okay, so this is going to be a simple EJS file, secrets, oh, top secrets. Okay, top dash secrets dot EJS. Okay, and this will simply be top secret, right? And but it will have a few things, okay, from our other pages, right, like bootstrap and all. So top secret like this. Okay, and in the body I'll simply empty the main, remove all the necessary things from there, and this is simply gonna say that Clark Kent is Superman. Okay, like this. Hmm. Ta-da. I'm gonna put it in a span, cut it from here, and give it a class text dash danger. Okay, right? But the thing is, I'm not actually gonna be showing this top secrets page on any of the like route. Okay, I simply want to show this page once. Um, we are either logged in or registered, right? See, generally what happens is like, like I've seen these two approaches. When you register, you can access the account directly, but nowadays I've seen that, once you register, you have to again log in and then you can access your account. Okay, and that's what we're gonna do here. Okay, like I simply want the user to give, you know, like a confirmation kind of a thing, right? So because we don't have any front end as of now, right? No React and all. So I simply want to redirect the user to the login page where he can log in. Okay, simple. And just for our confirmation, I simply want to console.log registered. Okay, and there I want to show the newly created user. Okay, let's try this now and see that if we are able to register the user or not. So test @email.com. Password is simply going to be hello world and sign up. Okay. See, so I think we are able to register. See, it says register, which means now we finally have a user in our database, right? So yeah, it's taking us to the login page, and the way we created this register, similarly, I also want to create a login page. Hmm? Like first of all, we have to create a login route. This is our login route, and I want to show the login page here, which doesn't exist as of now, right? So let me create a login.ejs page. I'll simply copy this and I'll paste it in login.ejs. So also I'm going to make some change in the title as well. So this will say sign up. Hmm, done. And this one will say sign in. Hmm, then this will say login now. Okay. This will make a request, post request to the login. And this one will say sign in. Maybe we should call it sign in now. Okay, sign now. Hmm. And yeah, need a new account. Not a user. Oh, my bad. This should be sign up and we're done. Okay, not a user, sign up. All right, so this will take you to the sign up page, which is on the register route. Okay, so we now have a register, sorry, the login page as well, which looks like this. Sign in now. Mm. All right, now we will simply take the same email, take the same password, and we'll send a request, which will simply say that you're not handling the post request for the login, right? And we are not handling that. So the way we handled this, the post request, similarly, we're going to be handling a post request for the login route as well. So dot post, and this is going to be an asynchronous function, request and response. Okay. And again, because this is a asynchronous function, I'm going to be using try and catch. Console.log the errors. Hmm, like this. And then inside of the catch, I simply want to see that if the user already exists. But before that, I want to extract the email and password coming from the body, requested body. Okay. Once you have this, you're going to be searching for the user. So const user is equals to await user dot find one with this email. Okay. And if there is no user, then it simply means that you don't have an account with us, right? So return here and see, I don't want to do a lot of things here because I'm not going to be sending this data to any React front end and all. So I'm simply going to take him to the like I'm gonna give a message first of all in the log. So console.log user already exists, and then I'm gonna return here, and then in the response, I want to redirect the user back to the register route, right? So that he can register. But if he does not have, like if he does have a account with us, so that the user actually exists, then we have to compare the password. Okay. Then I want to check that if the user which exists does have a password which is similar to our password, then it means yes, the user exists and the password or basically the credential match, right? So I'll say password match, right? And then in return, as a response, I want to render the top dash secrets page. Okay. So let's try and see if that works. So let's go back to the login. Let's put the password in there. Hello world, sign in and see. Clark Kent is Superman. Okay, so this is our level one security where we are just using if statements to check and then render a page conditionally. Okay, in the next session, we will be discussing that how we can actually encrypt this password field because the user which we have saved in our database, the password is not, you can say, encrypted, right? It's in plain text. And if somebody has the access to the database, they can see your password as well. Okay. So in the next session, we'll make sure that we encrypt this password. Thanks.